Hey, you remember me? He's like, I think so. I don't know. But no.
Oh, remember your buddy?
He's like, oh no, let me smell him.
Yeah.
He looks different. He's got different clothes.
Remember your buddy?
Oh.
Sure.
Bless you. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Do you have any allergies?
Nope.
He's like, no.
Not sure about that one.
So let's see if we can hopefully replicate these issues that you're having.
Yeah.
I know sometimes it can be difficult.
Yeah, I was hoping he would remember you and feel comfortable enough with you to be kind of a jerk.
He's like, nah, I don't know.
Frenchie.
Hey.
Yeah. Not sure. Buddy.
He's like, hold on. Gotta pee on something. There we go.
There we go. Come on, buddy.
Hi, Frenchie. Frenchie.
Buddy.
Oh, good job.
He still is good with that.
Yeah.
He will touch for a treat. He will sit and stay. It's the guarding of the couch.
Couch guarding.
And a lot of leash sensitivity when it comes to the couch. You're not trying to put a leash on him at night.
Okay.
And there we go.
What?
And aggression towards bigger dogs when he's sniffing them and he's on a leash.
Okay. Well, we can easily test that one out.
Yeah.
I got plenty of. Bless you.
Happy guy.
Lilo. I think he's only barking because she is. You need to go potty. Good girl. Good girl. Not at all. Oh, yeah. Tell him. Lilo. I know. Here you go. You don't like these treats, huh? There you go. Don't run, it makes it worse.
I just want to
Yeah. Good general rule of thumb when working with dogs that are unsure of you, not run away, because that makes them want to chase. Just like any dog normally. There you go. Settle. You're okay. Well. Oh, you got eye boogers. You have eye boogers for camera. There you go. You're so pretty. Okay. Oh, come on. Good girl. So we'll just walk together. You just ignore Fiona as best as you can. Just go ahead and walk that way. There you go. Yeah, it just seems to be apprehension. Right. Alright, and just keep on walking there. I know, right? So barking. Go ahead and have him come towards her. Go ahead and try to have Frenchie in between you guys, because she doesn't like people. She's more concerned with you than him. I just want to see what he'll do. Yep. Good. Hopefully he'll at least come by to smell. Here, I'll trade you. Do that. Over there, yes. Alright, let's go. Trying to create his own space right now. So, and she's also unfortunately not really kind of poking into his.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty neutral when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's really when bigger dogs kind of get up in his space or stand over him.
Right.
That's when he gets the most upset.
Oh yeah, there it is. See, so he feels trapped, and then he has to defend himself. So it's probably like to kind of coincide with the sofa. If he's already comfortable in the sofa, you already have like almost 2 or 3 sides covered. You're coming from the third side in.
Yeah.
At least it's consistent.
Yeah.
Creating that space was what we saw like happen there. She stopped going towards him now, and usually you're gonna hopefully go to get him off the sofa, and then he doesn't like it, he doesn't want to get up, and then you're not listening to him until he escalates it further into like a biting or snapping at you. Then he gets that space generated.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, to rehabilitate that, we'll have to just keep going in, so that way he knows that that unwanted behavior is not going to get him the space that he needs. You're gonna probably need some protective gear for that.
Yeah.
Or like I said, just entice him to get another way to get down.
It's hard to do that though, so what winds up happening is sort of at the end of the night, he's been on the couch for, an hour or so, it's time to go to bed, we're trying to get him off to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Or like get up in his crate, and it becomes this, 15-20 minute production of every treat in the book to get him off. And sometimes even when we do get him off and he's nibbling on a treat, and we then try to put the leash on him, he'll still snap, even once he's on the ground.
So he's already like, it sounds like he's already kind of not having it at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really the major issue we have with him, is getting him to, you know, listen to our commands to get off the couch. And, you know, if a kid were to come up to him on the couch, like our son, that's really the big concern when we're not watching or something. I'll back up, Leona. Yeah.
When they request for space, they're pretty good about listening.
Yeah.
You could also try one more pup who is not as considerate just because he's a puppy.
Yeah, that would be good.
Give that a shot. You can just go ahead and put that down. And
He won't run. If you want to drop the leash, that's fine too.
Just saying, that way I can pick it up.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. She's gonna be a forever foster. Yeah. Okay. You're good. He'll create his own. Good. Good boy. Yes. Oh yeah, he's just unsure. I think he just needs more time to get used to new pups. That's all. Get a chance to smell them, all that good stuff. Yeah. There you go. Good boy. And that's how dogs will correct one another. It's also, I think, how he's trying to correct you guys too.
Yeah.
So
sometimes
then
and this is a better reaction, but sometimes he'll sort of lunge for the other dog.
Right. It's understandable. Kind of like how, depending on how uncomfortable he is, and just like with the sofa and things like that, maybe how settled in, things like that. So another good option would be to make it so he doesn't have access to it to get up on in the first place, to have those confrontations.
What we're thinking is just sort of prohibit space.
Either the couch in general, because I know a lot of families don't like dogs on the sofa. So that could be one as well, just kind of training him whenever he's on there that it's you know, not welcome, and that you can annoy him in multiple different ways, everything from like an air horn to compressed air to citronella spray to a vibrating collar. You know, in extreme cases, you can use a shock collar and just find out what the lowest setting is that you have to kind of continue to use until he's like if I get on this odd sensation or this painful sensation, hopefully we start with odd or irritating, because that's usually going to be enough if you are consistent with it, you know. He gets on there and there's this irritating sensation that's bugging him, and then he has to get off, and then as soon as he gets off it stops. Something like that. Baby gates are another option too, but then you're kind of segregating the place, but that could be another good option for you, like if you know you wanted him kind of in his own space. That's what I do sometimes with like the puppies, is I'll have their not only their crate but also like a playpen area for them, you know, so that way they actually have all their own space, and if you wanted to come out to go potty, he would come out instead of you going in. Yeah. Right? So especially if he's more of that kind of like sensitive to his personal area, giving him his own personal area can sometimes be a great way to not like just avoid conflict, but to, you know, teach him boundaries as well. And same with kids, because it's a lot easier to keep kids out of like a gated pen area as well than off of the sofa. So you have a few options, you know, whichever one you think, you know, would work best for you and your family. Yeah. But it just seems kind of like that uncertainty and him wanting his own space, not wanting to move. Not wanting to meet. Get him. You gotta get him. I know, you just want to play with him.
I mean, he does like playing with other dogs.
I think it's just it has to be on his terms. Right? Go ahead and try to give him some attention to see if he's protective or anything too. There you go. It's like, Dad, what are you doing? Aww. He's like, what is going on? Fudge, come.
Look at how nice Fudge.
Good down. Down. Good down. Thank you. Good boy.
Are you jealous of Fudge?
There's definitely a little bit of that, you know, protective tendencies, those guarding behaviors. So you kind of mix that in with, you know, his already uncertainty and his reactivity to get what he wants, and then you combine that in with like his breed and the snappiness, right?
Fudge.
Oh.
There.
Oh yeah. See. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So now he's really trying to correct him. And you can tell he's still correcting. You know, he's not following through. He's not maintaining aggression. But now it's upping in intensity, kind of like we were talking about before with the sofa, right? He's not getting what he wants initially. Yeah. You try to press the issue. So instead of him conceding, he escalates further.
The sofa thing, though, he will escalate right away.
Right away.
So, like, for example, the other day, he was good, and I was trying to treat him, and we were sitting on the couch, and then I gave him a treat, and he was sort of chewing on it. And then I went to put the leash on him, and you know, he's got decent bite control, but still left a little mark.
Right.
He's once punctured Kathy. Usually it's a warning, but that's the worry.
Right.
Is it gets more and more severe.
The best thing to do is to just kind of, you have to hit really good corrective timings on those behaviors, like as soon as he Alright, so for like things with puppies and socks, or dogs and socks in general, have a control area where there's no socks in it. You bring a sock or two in it, and you have your bitter spray, and you monitor their behavior. As soon as they go towards it and they're interested, you call them back, you redirect them, and give them a treat. If they go after the sock, you get the bitter spray, and you spray the sock where they're biting or in between the mouth and the sock to discourage them from wanting the sock. Yeah. So that's the thing too. We want him to learn to not want these things, right? So then once he drops or disengages, instead of giving him a treat, putting in a toy in that area, so that way he has something engaging, like a cloth toy, like you know, hopefully the same texture as a sock, to help kind of wean him back towards appropriate from inappropriate items, without needing to kind of give him that treat for the for dropping it or behavior. You want him to kind of not want it, and that's where the bitter spray comes in, and then we want him to just want something else.
Yeah.
And you would just do that over and over again. The hard part for a lot of families with that is they don't have like a boarding facility like I do, or a boarding room, where, you know, I don't leave socks out. I put shoes in the closet. It's like, you know, sometimes the simplest thing to do to avoid bad behaviors is putting socks away in the laundry hamper or in the drawer. And I know that's
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we have been trying and can definitely do.
It's usually harder with kids though. Yeah. So that's usually, like I said, it's the variables, but making it so, you know, he doesn't have those opportunities without you during the training process is going to be important for not backsliding too. So you have to kind of be consistent with that. But that's something that, you know, is at least slightly less dangerous to do, and, you know, good for habits as well. What I try to tell a lot of clients is, you know, treating the puppy more like a baby, or treating the pup or the puppy more like a baby than a dog. Because what we'll do is we'll control that area, we'll constantly monitor. As soon as the baby starts getting into something that they shouldn't, we're putting something in their mouth, we're already there, be like, no, leave it, no, here's a toy. You just do the same thing, but with a dog. You know, we just give them so much freedom, and within that freedom, we've not set up things for them not to get into, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. We need to be, honestly, really, I think what it is Kathy and I to be more diligent.
It can be difficult, like I said, especially with kids, but, you know, it will go a long ways in helping you to avoid problems too. Oh boy. Let's see. So that would be the solution for the sock. If you want, we can test his sensitivity as well to like the collar, because I have one that just beeps and vibrates and then also shocks.
No,
You see how high you would need to go?
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Absolutely.
All right, let me go.
You gonna go get it?
He just jumped over. Yeah, there you go. He's doing well, pulling his punches here. Now he's like, okay, Dad. Now he's just gonna go after his thing. That's funny. Oh yeah. You're about to get walked. Good boy. Good leave it.
Frenchie, you're gonna get walked. Sit. Sit.
Good job. But yeah, usually what I use these for is to help with redirecting, getting focus and attention through a lot of conditioning. So what we'll do is we'll do like a lot of tone training first to build that positive association, so they know what to do when they hear that sound. And it's actually pretty easy. This one's going to be a little bit harder because it's like a hunting collar. You know, it's going to be a very soft tone. Whereas the normal e-collars are going to have a much louder tone too, and sometimes you can adjust the volume and different settings and things like that, different sounds, to make it really apparent. But the main thing is to get them conditioned first to that tone, to let them know that that beat means to come to you. And what I'll do at home, it's good exercise on like rainy days or when it's inconvenience weather, is I'll just have the collar next to me while I'm working on videos at the office, and I'll have the remote there, and when the dogs are just playing or not paying attention, I'll beep it and they'll know to come to me for a treat, and I'll just let them reset again, and then I'll beep it, and then they all come to me for a treat. So just really just classical conditioning, I guess, on that one, right? And then out in public with distractions, beeping it, and then at that point, if the beep, you know, if they're still distracted, then instituting a vibration for that physical sensation, and then following that up with like, once they're like, whoa, what was that? And then a beep again, they're like, oh, okay,
Frenchie.
back, right? All right, we're getting comfortable now. Okay, good. So using that vibration feature to help kind of get their attention back to you, And then outside of that, like if it's a critter or something like that they're hard fixating on, or if it's a dog he's barking at, and he ignores the beep, then he ignores the vibration, then you can do like the static, or I have a collar that shoots citronella spray too, for that last like more severe one that hopefully they're not going to ignore, because after that you just have to like physically be there to intervene. But that's why you want to kind of go down that order. I would even first start off with their name, Frenchie, oh, beep beep, and then the vibration to get the attention, and then if he's still ignoring that, then give him something that he cannot ignore. And like I said, you can actually start it off at a low enough setting that it's more of like what we were talking about, the irritating part. And that's where some of the collars will differ too, because the ones that people that like to use it for corrections will have like a boost feature or a knob that makes it really easy to crank up. This one you have to kind of do one by one,
I like that. We've been very skeptical and resistant to collars, but I definitely see their utility.
Yeah, and the main reason why we would institute it here is for safety reasons, because I always, of course, with all the anxiety cases, rescue cases, things like that the pups that I generally work with, I always advocate for the dog side of things. But it's also important to keep in mind that they are animals, and especially if another family member is at danger, would you rather correct them, in a way that they will take it seriously and they'll listen to you, kind of like with him, right? He's doing the exact same thing that him and other dogs are designed to do. When he's getting serious with that puppy, you can tell, right? It goes up and up and up, right? Because the dog wasn't, listening to him when it was down low. That's the same problem that we're having. So we're pretty much going back to primal instincts here, Hey, we told you no, I told you to get off. You didn't listen. I tried to incentivize you. You didn't listen. Now it's kind of like a kid. You're going to have to eventually count to 3 and have a repercussion. What we're end up doing right now, and why he's kind of getting, his way with things, and or feeling more empowered because of the fact that he keeps escalating, and now that's kind of, making us listen to him, is because after we say 3, we don't have a consequence for him. We try our best to train him so he doesn't need to get there, and sometimes too, once dogs actually get there, they will go back to listening on 2, or you know what I mean, or just like with kids. So
he's sharp too. I mean, he picks up things quickly.
So what we'll do first is just kind of test how sensitive he is to the tone and how he'll react. That's why I brought the other one, because we're going to clip both on there. Sometimes, especially with really skittish dogs I've worked with, they'll freak out even with the vibration. And you don't want them to run off, right? Because we haven't taught him anything on how to respond. So that's another thing people make the mistake of, because like even if you do it, and this is where it comes with timing, right? If you don't have the timing in and the situation correct and everything else, you could correct him, but he might not make that correct association with it. If you yelled at him and then you also shocked him, it's like, or is he getting shocked at because you're yelling at him? Things like that. So asking him to move, pulling, and then when he doesn't, then using the correction. We'll go more into that in detail here. But go ahead and slowly put that on him and try to give him treats at the same time. Trying to make it a nice positive experience. It's going to have to be relatively tight, so we want to make sure that you're nice and safe too. There you go. Right?
Too tight, not tight enough.
You want it pretty much as tight as possible, because we want to also make sure that the prongs register. It's almost like a 1 past the 2 finger tight kind of roll, because we don't want it sliding around and not, and then you kind of go up. Yeah, we'll test it out here. All right, so first setting here is just going to be tone. Oh, we can start 100. Okay. One drink. All right, now we'll just go ahead and put this on too, so we don't forget. That way, if you need to, you can drop the other one and have and be able to run around a little bit. All right. So main one, backup one.
Yep.
All right. So let's just walk around for a little bit.
Hey, buddy.
Wait for him to kind of get distracted with something, and then we'll press the tone and we'll see how he responds. We'll try to go to some grass or something, because usually that'll help. And we're just looking for him to kind of just not pay attention to us. Right? And just keep casually walking. He'll kind of give up interest here anytime now. Right? Okay. I'll give you this. So when you hear the tone, go ahead and call his name and then give him the treat. Right? So wait for here. Want to not be paying attention, maybe get distracted by the barking dogs over there. Just watching him. Okay. And now.
Frenchie.
Good. Okay. And we're gonna just wait for him to not look at you. And then call his name.
Frenchie.
Gonna need more treats, huh, big guy? Okay. Right. Yeah, I got leftover crumbs. We'll start heading back that way so I can pick up some more for us.
Frenchie.
Okay. All right.
Frenchie.
Good. So you kind of see there, he heard the sound. He already looked to you before you called his name. It's very slight, but we'll see if that means that you're starting to get the idea.
Study. I work for
You just have to be consistent. So I'm just waiting for him to kind of get distracted.
Frenchie.
Good.
Frenchie.
Good. So a little delayed on it. That's okay.
Frenchie. Frenchie.
I think he got distracted by the flies. Because he did perk up initially. And that's not far.
Frenchie.
Good. So he's at least responding to it. So that's the important thing. Just do that a couple more times, and then we'll switch over to like when we do the beep, and we'll see how if he ignores it, we'll see how he does with the vibration, how sensitive he is to that.
Frenchie.
Right? So you might have to piece you though, but that lets you know, right? But he'll focus right afterwards. So that was good.
Frenchie.
Good. Yeah, so he's at least recognizing it, because every time you hit it, those ears,
Yep.
luckily they're big enough that we can kind of clearly
definitely
see. They
tell.
kind of, yeah, they kind of perk up. So that's good. We'll do that just a couple more times. Go ahead and cross the street here.
Frenchie, let's go this way, buddy. Frenchie.
Good. So he's responsive to it, which is good. You know, to what degree, we're not sure yet.
Yep.
Does he still need conditioning to recognize what it is? Yeah, but you know, it's the first time. So kind of just
Frenchie.
very good. So now this time, don't wait too long between, but just wait for long enough for him to not pay attention and not be smelling anything. And then as soon as he's walking with you but not looking at you, just beep it and see if he just comes back to you for a treat. So kind of just get ready with a treat as if you're anticipating him to know, right? And then just get a treat ready. There you go. Good.
Boy.
And that's how you would start transitioning. You would just cut out the recall
the
part. Because he should start associating it directly with the beep. Beep means turn around, see where that is. Come back, stop what you're doing. You know, that also, like I said, is also an interrupt from his behavior, because you're taking that momentary focus off of whatever it was that he had it on and back onto you. Even if it was on nothing, you're still taking it from nothing and back onto you. All right. Very good. We'll do it one more time and then we'll see how he does to the vibrate. Just like anything else, really try to focus on, right? So it's not going to pull him when he's thinking of peeing, but he'll do it. He'll check back right afterwards. So that was good. If you had the treat ready, it would have been good there too. So that is fine. But so we already kind of are getting a little bit of to what extent, but you can always offset that too. Like if you always beep when he gets dinner, or if you always beep when he gets a piece of steak, you know, or a piece of a hot dog. So you can always increase the value of the tone. You can kind of tell here it's not quite enough for when he's actually smelling. So this will be a good opportunity here. I'm just going to go ahead and switch the settings from tone to vibrate.
You came back for it though.
There you go. Okay. So now this time we're going to actually wait for him to be in the middle of smelling something and then trigger it to see if it's strong enough to pull him from it and how he reacts and things like that. So now we're just going to kind of do the next step. We're just waiting for him to get really deep into something smell-wise and then hit the vibrate.
Taking his time.
Right?
Good boy, buddy.
It's always like when you want the dog to follow you, you ask him to kind of look at you and pay attention and follow you. They don't want to, but then when you ask them to sit, stay, they're like, nah, I'm coming with you.
I'm coming.
It's funny how that works.
Yep. There's gotta be some good smells around.
The tree line coming up after we take a right, so we'll just kind of circle around the block, or this mail thing sometimes.
Very popular.
We'll find something. Now this one, it's going to be on you because we won't be able to hear it, so you'll have to know when you press it and then really pay close attention to how he
Should I
reacts.
say his name or no?
No. Yep. We just want to see what his pure reaction is when he's in the middle of smelling something and he feels the vibration. We just kind of want to get a baseline of how he'll react. We'll want to also wait until the car isn't coming by if possible too, so in case like he freaks out. I don't think he will, but there's always that possibility. Usually you can tell the pups that will. They're usually very skittish, very sensitive. He's pretty steadfast, but he definitely has some of his own insecurities, and you can kind of tell from earlier too, you know. Hi. He'll guard you, but he probably won't guard you against Fiona.
Exactly right. Yeah, he'll he knows who's going to win the battle.
He'll guard you from Fudge all day, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, problem there.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just look at the device too to make sure it's registered. Right? So nothing. Right.
Which doesn't surprise me, honestly.
Some dogs, like I said, are just more sensitive to it than others.
He,
But that's fine. Let's now do a baseline of when he's not smelling, kind of like with the beep.
yeah.
And we'll see how he does there.
Should I say his name or no?
No. Just when he's not looking. Not looking, not smelling. Nothing at all. No, even like the ear perk. And he's like, I'm done.
He's like, no, this is great.
Cool. All right. Okay. Go ahead and take it off of him for now. We'll give him a break.
Okay, buddy.
I'm gonna put on momentary 1. And before doing anything that could harm a dog or anything painful, it's always good to make sure that you test these things out so that way you know what you're inflicting.
Yeah.
Right. So that's level 1. And this is also a good way to kind of help you guys know what level sensitivity you guys are. So now we go up to 2. Okay. So now we put it on me first. Yep, that one will do it. Ready?
Very slight.
Right?
Almost like you're getting shot.
Right? So probably 1 up from that is going to be what you'll have problems ignoring, right? So give me first. See if I don't notice it. I'll let you press it whenever. Yep, definitely notice it. Okay, your turn. I'm not going to tell you when. Yeah. Right. And that's the same thing that we're going to do with him. We just wanted to build up to the point where he recognizes it, because we can do that with this. We can't do that with the vibrate.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, past that is when you're starting to dip into the correction territory.
Yeah.
So we want to try our best to see.
That's very slight.
We want to try our best to see if he can, if we can work him through just annoying him first without having to actually hurt him. All right. Back on it is.
All right, buddy.
If you need a couple treats for it. Oh, you have the treats. I forgot this time.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the posture where...
Right, because he's kind of tired. He's laying down. Doesn't want to get up. Doesn't want to be disturbed.
Another treat, buddy?
And sometimes, you're going to have to move him. We have schedules. Unfortunately, dogs do not.
Another one?
All right, and it's on you, and it's back onto 1. And I'll walk you through how to adjust it once we need to. All right. So in this example, we'll want to wait for him to just be neutral again, kind of like with the beep, just to see what the number is that he recognizes. So when you press it, just make sure you pay close attention to him to see if he does anything. Right. Okay. I'll go ahead and show you how to notch it over. So go left on the joystick, press it down, and then go right.
Right one.
Press it down, and then right again. Yep. Just joystick control. That's on 2. And this is going to be really important on making sure that it actually has contact too, right? And that's why, because people will amp it up, but it's loose. Yeah, so it doesn't register until it's already on like 50 or something, and now like the dog is laying on it.
I cannot get 2 fingers in there.
There you go. You should be okay. We'll know something's up if we get to like 10 or something. Yeah. Pay close attention to him when you press it. No. Go ahead and give him a treat. Keep it on that setting. We'll try one more time. Maybe. Yeah. So go ahead and do it to 3, and that'll probably give us a very much more like clear. Press. Notch. Press. Notch. Perfect. Nope. We'll try it when he's not smelling, and then we'll notch up again. He's just less reactive to it so far than, oh, you can go ahead and give him a treat, than the beeps. because I think he's just kind of looking to us because yeah, he does just check in normally too, which is nice. There you go. Okay. So we'll keep it on that one a couple more times. Maybe wait for him to smell something too, but try to take advantage of neutral times too. There's just practice. So there, right? He was already interested in smelling something. Go ahead and press while he's, and then see if he'll do after. Very good. A little bit. Go ahead, notch it up one more. Good. Very good. So we're still making it a positive situation, even with something that can be associated with negative. It's just the force applied. Be the same as, like, you know, patting your significant other or tapping your significant other on the shoulder to get their attention, and like slapping them, you know, because they're ignoring you or something.
You just see the truth now.
Yeah, we'll just be walking. There it is. Yeah. So that's his number, right? So that would be kind of your baseline, and that's how you would work from there. Now, the last thing I want to show you is when you slide over, and this is going to be kind of more towards what you're going to be doing on the sofa, right? Yeah. Instead of momentary, you're going to be continuous. So you're going to press it once, and it's going to go until you press it again and turn it off. So like if he hops on there, you press it. When he hops off, yeah. And that's how a lot of trainers will do recall as well. I usually start on vibrate, and that way they know the sensation's gonna go until they get to me, and I'll sometimes have to reel them in, but then once they reel them in, they're get close to me or stop, I'll stop it. Or if I notice that they are actively coming back, then I'll stop it, right? So that's what that means, and you'll see that on a bunch of collars too. And they'll work differently, so you might wanna make sure you read on how the different collars work.
How much is this collar?
This one's a GPS collar, so it's going to be overkill for you.
Yeah.
This one's like $900, $1,000, but you can use any of the Amazon ones. Just don't buy the super cheap ones. Yeah, those are quite sketchy. There's a lot of them, but try to find ones with like a lot of reviews from a reputable brand or very popular brand. Don't buy them from the pet store too, because those are overpriced for what they are. They'll charge you like $120 for one that you can get for like $50 is going to be kind of what you're looking for. It's going to be pretty good quality. You don't need to get one of the pet training IQ things with the boost and the knob and all that stuff, because I don't think he'll need it. At least not from what I see. But that can at least give you some options to think about working with. See if that works at home, if you're going to need the lessons, or if it's still too dangerous and you want me to try to do the boarding and recreate it with him, because all those things are going to be like, it's going to be very hard to like let you know solidly what's going to work best in this case. But at least that'll kind of give you some options.
Got it. So you think the best course would be for us to try to work with him, get a collar, and then if we're still struggling with it, or if we're not seeing progress, then maybe bring him back in for another 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I can try to do lessons with you at home too. Yeah. Well, I'll just need to have pretty much the entire day off from other sessions. Yeah. And we'll have to try to either do it like really early or something. Yeah. Or later on in the evening too could work, when he's kind of settled in after the sofa. So it's not off the table, but it's just it's going to be a lot harder and a lot more time in between sessions, because I might be able to maybe do it like once a week or every other week at most, but that might be enough too, to kind of be there where you guys are having those issues and help you out, or at least diagnose what's going on and offer some other ideas or suggestions.
Touch. Check out that one.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, if there's a video showing like how we actually effectively do the collar to get him off the couch, that's probably all I need. Also, appreciate it very much, TJ.
Yeah, my pleasure. And the good part too with the collar is you're not encroaching in. You know, you're keeping yourself and your kids safe while discouraging him from being on there.
Yeah. And can you explain the idea of how the collar would work with the couch again? I know we had been working about on...
As soon as he gets on there, you can do it manually, but some collars will have that continuous function.
Yeah.
And just, you can have, like I said, you can do it two ways. The one way where he's just kind of poking, where he's not able to ignore it, and he just kind of gets off because he's annoyed. And then there's the turning it up to where it hurts him, and he gets on, and then you hurt him right away, so he wants to get off. That's going to be on your discretion. my personal, opinion with those things, I try to just keep them away from it in the first place, or if he's about to jump on, I redirect him and not let him on in the first place, so you're kind of avoiding that issue. But if you're not there, he gets up while you're away, this will give you an opportunity, but you just have to make sure you put on the collar before leaving or anything, or while you're practicing. Probably way more ideal. So you'll still want to try to control as many variables as possible while you're working on it. And I went over with him too how to build a positive association still with it. And that could be your number 1 out of 3. When you call a child for doing something wrong, or they need to come downstairs, the 1 could be his name, the 2 could be the beep or the vibrate, and then the 3 could be the thing, and then following up with that 3, the harsher consequence. So you could start poking the bear, so he's priming himself, and then if he still doesn't, or he does not, then you can do that to kind of scare him off of it. I've also heard people use like water guns too, super soakers or the spray bottles. I don't do those because they can traumatize them for when you might actually need a spray bottle at the groomers or something. And then you're also getting your couch wet. But those, you just want to find a consequence that keeps you away from him, because the more that you push into him, the harder it's going to be to get him to actually move, because of the tendencies that we see from him.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it the same with like when we're trying to get him to go outside or whatever, or is that just where we need to be like working on training him to like actually come or touch or whatever the command is?
I don't know, because I've never had problems with him wanting to go outside. I think because it was just kind of consistent and everybody else was going.
He does follow along when everyone else is going.
Yeah.
Like even to get him off the couch, like when we go upstairs at night, sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it takes him like 15 minutes, but he'll eventually hop down and wander up.
There you go. So maybe just start trying to make things as easy as possible while you're training. Try to do things earlier, so that way you're not frustrated because of a lack of time. So if you have to go to bed in like half an hour, go ahead and start an hour earlier to give yourself a bit of cushion, so that way it'll also maybe give him just the opportunity to give up naturally on his own to follow you and be with you. But as far as him going outside, I don't know, I would have to see those behaviors, but with the way that we kind of went over with the collar, that's kind of like recall. So you can,
the behavior is basically,
so long as he comes to you and it stops.
There are situations where, we want to feed the kid, and he kind of knows that it's dinner time, and you try to coax him outside, and he stands at the doorway, knowing that he's about to get trapped outside, and we could throw cheese and a bunch of stuff out there, but it'll be really difficult to get him to cross the threshold. Is really it.
So maybe if anticipating that, because that's what he's doing, and readjusting your routine. So instead of getting things ready to feed the kid first, maybe going outside or coming back in from a walk before he's situated, and taking him right into his own spot, and then feeding the kids.
That's what we've been trying to do with right as we get back from a walk, taking him to the outdoor patio. Then he gets mad and he sort of stands outside and begs to be let back in.
That could be another option for you. And if your yard or your neighborhood is okay, I have a tie out as well, and that's what I've done before with dogs in the yard. Is just if they don't want to come in, just tie them out, and then I go do other.
We have a fully encased patio.
Oh, perfect.
You can hang out in. Yeah.
So just let him be out there.
Okay.
You know? Don't force things if you don't have to. If he's unless there's a storm or hurricane coming and he needs to be inside or he's gonna get washed away. He'll come in if he needs to come in. I had a couple dogs before, and that's how we trained Recall at the other place, because it was a fenced-in yard. But we'd let them out before breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we called them back in for meals. They didn't come back in. They didn't. They stay locked out until the meal time was up. Bowls were picked up, and
his issue is more he wants to come back in immediately.
There you go. Well, just patience there.
Yeah.
You have to get it, so if he gives up before you, a lot of times parents just have that problem too. We end up conceding one thing or another.
Too much, I think, perhaps, with them.
Yeah, and it can be difficult, because they have all the time in the world, and that's where you have to really try to game plan that into your routine, so that way that's not something that's pressuring you.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Any other questions, Scott?
No, thank you so much, TJ. This is very helpful and much appreciated.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Absolutely.
And like I said, if you guys still need some help, then definitely get in touch, and we'll figure out something. But even if you don't, it'd be good to hear an update, see how he's doing.
Yeah, do not worry. We will definitely be talking to you. You'll be sick of us. if you're not already.
No. It was good seeing you guys again.
What do you think, French? All right, I'm Kat. I'm going to hang up.
Okay, thanks, TJ.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Bye.